What's going on YouTube? AJTBLS here, coming to you with episode number 3 of GFC 22. So we're going against Pui. She is famously known as the Burn Queen. She pioneered Panda Burn very well, got it to where it is. So a lot of kudos to you. You've made my job a lot harder, and you've made me have to side a lot of cards to beat that deck. You kind of revolutionized GOAT format, whether or not you like it or not. A lot of props to you for what you did popularizing Panda Burn, you and Delinquent there. So let's go ahead and take a look at her list. She's running Relinquished, which is, in my opinion, a pretty powerful list, but it has the tendency to brick. You know, when you're starting to run these type of monsters, you know, Relinquished, I don't even know how to pronounce this card, Duro. You know, what happens if you open that card? You just have a complete brick in your hand, and, you know, I get it. The idea is you're going to search them from these, and you're going to have fodder for your Regeki Break and your card destruction and stuff, and you're just generating advantage. So it's just a pure card advantage type deck minus the flips. So the way I look at GOAT format is a card advantage game, especially in a mirror match. And against this type of list, you might have to put an asterisk beside it because, you know, while there is definitely the card advantage game, it's kind of the quality of cards that you're getting too, because I don't really care if my opponent is up in cards, but all these type of monsters, and they only run one Black Illusion Ritual. So it comes down to quality of card advantages as well. So this is kind of a list that just really heavily focuses on card advantage, but what are the cards? So that's why I was never really a fan of this list. I have tested it out. I ran it one time at locals, and I think I scrubbed out in the first round of Top Cut. So it loses very heavily to Kycoo, and I love Kycoo. I always have it. So the main deck is very interesting. You've got the Diro, this Soldier. So again, trying to generate plus by bouncing your Premature Burial and using a Sinister Serpent. It's a very aggressive list. 3 Sorks, no flips, and then the side deck. Side deck's interesting, like Messenger of Peace and Tsukiyomi. Doesn't main space. Against me, for the purposes of my deck, you know, I'm expecting her to think that I'm going to side in my 3 Kycoo, because it's amazing against... Kycoo is like designed to beat this deck. You know, they're summoning 1,400 monsters. What's bigger than 1,400? Kycoo. Also takes the graveyard, requires a response. So Kycoo is kind of the nightmare for this matchup for her. I want to say before the matchup, I have a strong deck advantage. So going back to the popular 5 stars in terms of difficulty, I gave Gia 3.5, Moxie's 5. Pui in this specific matchup, I want to give it like a, you know, between a 3.5 to a 4. I'll probably just give it a 4. It's just because of how much my deck is favorited against this. However, it does still have Trap Dust Shoot, it still has Trinity, and if it can get the ball rolling, I can lose. So it's GOAT format, right? We're playing cards. So anything can happen. Let's get into the replay. All right. So at this point, we both have qualified for Worlds. This is now the top 4 of this event. So we're kind of only playing now for position in the tournament. She's already accomplished a Worlds invite, and let's go ahead into it. Okay, so we fortunately win Rock, Paper, Scissors. Always a nice start. Pretty strong hand. I don't think there's a merit to firing the Charity right away. You know, it would be nice to have a Trap Dust Shoot, but I think a nice T-set of setting the Dekoichi and setting the Ring would do just fine. I like holding Charity, especially against decks that run Trap Dust Shoot, because when you get Dust Shot and you have Charity, you can immediately change the cards in your hand, and that takes away some of the information that they gain. Plus, I might top deck a Thunder Dragon, or, you know, draw another card from the Koichi and have more options like a Night Assailant, Serpent. So we can just wait a turn. They draw their second TD. Sucks for them. And they kind of just have a miserable hand here. It's kind of nice that they have access to, I guess, Relinquish right away. So I think that's actually their play. They decide not to do anything. They're trying to go the long game, and I feel like in these situations, when you open a hand like this, and you're running this type of deck, and you're given these pieces, I think you should just go for it. I definitely would have used Ring on the Relinquish when it comes out to protect my monster, and then they could just drop ELS. I think actually that's probably their best line of play, although of course it would not work out for them because I have Snatch Steal, and they probably would have just lost sooner if they did do that. I feel like doing nothing with this type of hand is not optimal, because of just how low of a chance. Like, you've already bricked beyond belief. I think that bringing out the BLS, Pray I Can't Answer It, I think is their best chance. We top deck Thunder Dragon. We're gonna flip to Dekoichi, draw, and we're going to fire the charity. Pitches are going to be the 2 TDs, I'm sure, unless we found a lethal line. Let's see here, because our set is ring. Again, I don't watch my replays before I make a video on them. I like the responses to be genuine. I have watched this before, of course, after I won the tournament, but I haven't watched it since. So what do we see here? If we tribute out this, or we can pitch. Yeah, if it's short, so just attack for 14. And then I don't even set the jar, which is odd. I feel like we could have committed that. So they top deck Graceful Charity, which is probably their best draw, which goes into a Trap Dust Shoot, into a Sangan. So, and the no attack is probably right. Really, what are you going to attack into? What do we decide to do here? Because this is a hard spot to navigate now. If we flip and it gets torrentialed, I feel like we should flip it still. Yes. And they decide to use torrential. So in our situation, we got the spy for free, as in like the flipped one for free. The Dequachi's already got us a card and already punched. They want to make a trade with us in this spot. We're okay with it. Upstart, of course, and now it's pretty simple. I think that you set the Magician of Faith, set the jar, set the shoot. Nice. Okay. And they do top deck Heavy Storm. This is a spot where you send a BLS. It's quite trivial. They know we have Snatch Steel, so yeah, we do send it back. So there could have been like a line where they don't use Heavy, waiting to see our snap. They know all of our cards, right? So there is a line where you don't send it back, bait them out, but I think that it's just not right. All right. So they're attacking a known Faith, right? It's not 100% sure, but it's pretty likely that this card is Magician of Faith. Maybe they're wondering or worried I set Regeki Break, because they don't know that I have Ring set still. I'll just let it die, take Graceful. We should be firing the Graceful Charity. I agree with those discards. Pot's nice. We already have 2 spies gone. I think the play is just summon Tsukiyomi, attack, set, shoot. Should probably send back 1 squish. Yeah, this card is just completely useless in this spot. Could have started applying some pressure, maybe like a normal summon spy. Does suck that 2 of them are gone, but we do need to get something going, and we are super high, so I think normal summoning spy is right. Cool. Just some sort of pressure, and again, we have ring, and let's start turning our card advantage, our real card advantage, and also their fake cards. Let's start putting some clock. Just something. Get something going. We could just summon the Sook and go for, 23, but we're deciding to set the Night Assailant. So they're fully committed to trying to get a plus here. In our eyes, if they top decked BLS, are we dead? We could be dead with a specific combination of we know they have these 3 cards, so if it's BLS plus ring, that'd be 18, 3k, 48. Nah. I mean, we could ring our own monster. I think ring your own monster is actually right. It sucks to do, but if they top deck pot and they go runner into, because we know they have these cards, if they go runner into BLS with a ring, with a normal summon, we're just dead. So this prevents us from dying, and I don't really care about taking a neg in that spot, because when they're doing that, I already know that this card is dead. So let's get them for 1200 as well. I'm okay with taking 19, and let's just push the game state. And they set ring behind it, so we obviously snatch the breaker. It's a pretty good spot to do so. And in this spot, I think you normal summon a Dequachi and attack, set Regeki Break. And yeah, you could even set another one. Why not? That's fine. This is never going to go through. Oh. What? Okay, so this is kind of cool. The reason why we let this go through is that, you know what? I got to give myself some respect for this play here. We don't know the card in her hand, and we have a way to kill this, and saving her Regeki Break is, again, guaranteeing us to win the game. So we can actually just take this 14, and then on our turn, make a play with this, because we're so okay with this. Perfect. And now we just have game, right? So this was actually really smart, letting them take it. It's, again, just making sure we don't lose. So, all right, I made a better play than I seen, just speaking. So let's go talk about the siding. I'm thinking that 3 Kycoos, Going second. They do have a mind control. 3 Kycoos for removing some trains. I think Sakuretsu's decent against their list. Very aggressive list, so Sakuretsu's probably decent. Torrential is probably good as well. Call. Quite a bit of options. Wonder what I did in real time. And we're back, so let's go ahead and get into the game. We're going to be going second. All right, they have a pretty powerful hand. And we get fortunate and they hit our flip. This is a mistake, Kui. You should be always setting one of the 2 chainables because of breaker. And I kind of maybe gave you a little bit too much respect because to myself, I thought that breaker was always going to be quite bad in this matchup. So this is why I set it, and I wanted to bait out a nobleman here. So I'm doing a little bit of a fancy play. You know, it's easy to do when we see the cards in real time, but I'll just discuss this play more because I actually still agree with it. The spy in this matchup previously in episode 2, you know, the spy kind of showed how good it is. If you want to talk about how powerful the spy is again, this is another matchup where spy is a complete nightmare. So if you take a look at their list, they don't really have ways to clear it other than committing relinquished or a sorcerer. It would require a lot of commitment, and I didn't think that the breaker would get any value, especially on a turn 0 set, going against their list with 3 Regeki breaks, ring, etc. It just happened that in this spot, it would have been the nuts. They get rewarded for a very questionable play, and then we bait out the nobleman. So at least we get a good trade. And in this spot here, I think you just set the spy and you pass, yes, because there's not really a merit. We don't, like, again, we don't want to get breaker to get any value. And they should probably be breaking the card, and they do. And they attack. Draw for our turn. It's Solemn Judgment. So, interesting spot. Do we want to commit our tribe to kill a 1400? We do draw Solemn. I don't think you do. We could just eat it. I think that's... Well, I guess not. So, at least we're not going for prio. We should just be trying to attack it. It'll get met with ring. That's fine. And then I think you just set all of them. Take the 14. It's not online. I think we should be setting Regeki Break now. They're not summoning it because they know I could have sided in Torrential. I think that's right. They do it now, I guess. Need a Kycoo. This is a good draw. We should be calling back the tribe. And this is the card we were looking for. We should let that go through. And now we have an interesting decision whether or not to Regeki break the back row. MST's already gone. One of the breaks are already gone. And this is just to try to protect our Solemn so we can use it for the future. We decide not to. So we're fully committed to Solomon this, I assume. Yes. Cool. All right. And let's see if Kycoo can just walk. They set Serpent. Just pick up the dead body. Set the spy and pass. So they do call priority. We unfortunately do have to Sakuretsu this. They don't have light and dark turned on, so I think flipping the spy is fine. We should know at this point that this is either Sangan or Serpent. I like that we're not attacking it. There's no point. This is smart. So they wanted to take back there. I did give it to them. It's fine. We have a dead Sork. They're trying to kill us on this line, so all they're going to do is put it in attack mode and attack. I think we just give it to them, and then we should be Regeki breaking the Snatch. Take back our own property. And...
Hello there.
We top deck another Kycoo, so that's just a monster draw. And then we should know, again, that what this card is. So yeah, it's a Sangan or a Serpent. And then this is just like a slam dunk. Banish out, and they're going to need to top deck something very specific. What do they get? They get Sork. So, I'm just trying to think about how they played, because I know she asked me to be quite critical and honest. I feel like she didn't play terrible, but there was definitely a lot of spots where it could have went worse for her, and it didn't. Like, that turn 0 was enough to lose the game setting the space instead of setting the ring or Regeki break. Those are the small enough things that can cost you a match. Other than that, and I mean, it's unfortunate that you gave me the information that you had Trap Dust Shoot in your hand, which allowed me to kind of make this play. Using the Snatch last turn, I get it. You don't know the discard's Mirror Force, and you don't know the discard's Break. So there are definitely a lot of lines where you made the clear play, but sometimes I feel like you should take your time and just think about more, give your opponent a little bit more respect. I think a key takeaway from this one for YouTube is when you're playing at the top tables in the tournament, just know give your opponent a lot of respect and always assume that they're going to make the best play with their cards, especially when they're known cards from Shoot. That's a good general takeaway for this video. I feel like you played pretty well, Pui, and congratulations on the World invite, and I'll see you at Worlds. And YouTube, I hope you enjoyed this match. Thank you.